I want to begin with verse 12. We're going to walk through this text, and we're working with Ephesians 6. Verse 12 goes like this. For our struggle is not against enemies of the flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers of this present darkness, against spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places, and also evil. Now this is solid theology, and it prepares us that there are things that are less than gracious out there, and even within ourselves. But this is also a text that could go horribly wrong. There are extremists in various stripes that could take this and, oh, God has called us to rise up against not just flesh and blood, but against rulers. How could that be possibly misused? And against authorities. How could that possibly be misused? Think about the times in which people have taken text like this and picked up their weapons, whether they be swords or guns. Whether they're crusades, or another religion, ISIS, or the extreme hate groups that we have today. They might pick this up and say, well, Paul said we're supposed to go out against the authorities. We can use this to strike out against them. Let us pray. Lord, let it be that we would see the whole story here and not be lost on a verse or two, but guided together in your word, that we would be renewed to stand firm and uphold the protection and the power that you give us in Jesus' name. Amen. But if we were to use the text in that way, I would believe that we would actually be incurring and encouraging evil instead of countering. There's all sorts of things that evil does. And sometimes that powers of evil that they're talking about is outwardly violent, and we can see that, we can put a name on that. But sometimes it's much more subtle, but also very destructive. We have to remember that in Paul's day, if you were not a Roman citizen, you basically did not have rights. They were fully equipped or allowed to come along and say, here, carry my load for a mile. And you had to do it. They could beat on people and do whatever they wanted to you. And if you weren't a Roman citizen, you didn't have rights. Keep in mind that in Paul's day, probably a third of Rome, or up to a third of Rome, could have been slaves. And another third possibly former slaves. So when they talk about powers of authority, they knew exactly what they were, because they were not the power, and the Romans were. So how do we talk about struggles against rulers and authorities, against cosmic powers of evil, without getting lost on, getting off track in some political or racial or economic or cultural arguments? Without getting lost in some kind of sectarian arguments in which we lose the very focus of the Spirit that's intended here. And the answer came, of course, on NPR. One of the guys was commenting about some of the stuff with Russia today. And they were asking the former State Department person, well, what should we do about Russia? And he said, it's not about Russia that we have to focus on. We focus on ourselves. If we want to be a solid nation, to have a solid answer, and be on course for who we are, we focus on who we are and what we can do. Yes, we are aware of enemies. Yes, we are aware of evil, but we don't become reactive to it. We become proactive. So we put on the armor of God. You see the analogy there. If we spiritually are always reacting to some perceived danger, we might lose our way. But like this guy said, don't worry about what the Russians do. Focus on who we are. So also spiritually. There's evil out there. It's within us. It's all throughout, wherever we may be, throughout history, etc. But we are called to be focused on Christ and take on the armor of God. Now I want you to hear the context, because if we're going to understand a text, we have to understand where it's coming from. The earlier text, the verses 1 to 10 in chapter 6 of Ephesians, is about relationships between masters and slaves, and parents and kids. Some kids might see a parallel, I don't know. And what they do is, they don't argue with the institution, though he may have disagreed with it. He doesn't argue on the basis of power. He calls us to be gracious to the other. So the slave should be gracious to the master, and the master gracious to the slave. And the parent gracious to the child, and the child gracious to the parent. And he goes one step further. As you see the other that is thought as the boss or the opponent or whatever it is, think about them as if they were Christ. That changes the formula. Then we become real people. Then we're all real people in Christ, not just the label. Now the latter verses, those are the verses just before this text, the latter verses 18 to 24, these are all about prayer. A good place to start. One of the things today, somebody's in New Jersey, she's hurting. What can I do after prayer? I don't even get a chance to talk with her because I'm talking with a relative, or texting. Sorry, I'm slipping into that, talking with my thumbs. But we can pray, and we can pray all the time. And maybe we need to pray most of all when we're in moments of confusion. So he lays out this wonderful, wonderful text for us. By the way, did you notice that the message at the end says, pray and receive tychicus, and also pray for me. By the way, anytime I'm preaching, I'm quite happy if you want to pray for the message. And if you throw a little prayer for me, I don't mind that. Okay, here we go, guys. These passages. It is always wise to know one's enemy and opponent and all that stuff. But if you really want to be on track for where the Spirit is, you take the next step. And that is to put on the armor of God. It's probably a lot more solid than my poster board. Verse 10 goes like this. We're going to walk through this. Finally, be strong in the Lord and in the strength of the power. One of the things that's often deceived, if we talk about spiritual and things like that in church, some people think, well, they must be weak. And the reality is, if you're going to be caring, you have to be twice as strong. If you're going to be caring, you have to be so strong that you can get over yourself and care for somebody else. Be strong in the Lord. That's a good way to start. Then we pick up verse 12, when I said that for the struggle is not about people, but rather against the rulers, authorities, etc., etc. All forms of evil. From this I gather this, and that is we have to be careful not to confuse the symptoms with the cause. Not to confuse the symptoms with reality. Whether it's in our homes or all the way up to international relations, it's oftentimes that you hear reactions about the symptoms, but they're not getting to the cause. And it's easy to fall into that. Oh, that's something I can see, I can deal with. Boom. But oftentimes, if we're going to deal with the reality, what's underneath, you have to look a lot more carefully, probably beginning with prayer. And deal with the reality that is much deeper than what's in or on the surface. Verse 3, put on the armor of God. I had a wonderful story shared with me this week. One of our people served in Nam, and as you know, not everybody came back. And he was quite sure that one particular acquaintance of his did not. And then he was at a birthday party with his son, indirect relations and all that, and this guy shows up bringing his son. And there's a series of hugs and all this stuff, and it's crazy time. And in the process, they said, I thought you were dead. That's what they told us. Well, I kind of got shot up with it, you know. And this guy apparently was very extreme. If he did anything, it had to be all the way, you know. And apparently they were dug underneath, they were pinned down. And he said, I apologize for this word, but I think it's the only way to say it. I just got pissed off and I went running into a machine gun nest. This is not wise. You don't run into bullets. That's not putting on the armor. A tank would have been useful at that moment. And he got shot up pretty bad. His emotions drove him far beyond his brain. He said, yeah, that wasn't too smart to do. We need to keep that in mind. People take on adult issues and they're working with about a 4-year-old spirituality. People take on the issues of the world, and yet they haven't really thought through what does it mean to be in Christ in this world and take it into prayer. If you're going to put on the armor of God and begin with prayer, this is a good place to go to. Be ready. Next verse coming up. Verse 14. Put on the belt of truth. The neat thing about that is, if you're putting on a belt of truth, you're relying and affirming a reality that is beyond yourself and myself. We're saying that there is a truth, a significant aspect that is independent of us and yet drives our lives. One of the false teachings of some of the cults is that, oh, God is everywhere. You know, it's kind of New Age stuff. God is everywhere, and there is no independent God. We all have a piece of God, and that's all there is. And I say, no, there is. Anytime you start thinking you're God, you got bad spelling. We're closer to D-O-G than G-O-D. We have to remember there's a greater truth than beyond that, and we can rely on that, and it's trustworthy, and it can uphold us through all things. And it's not dependent just on my particular emotions or thoughts at that moment. So when you put on the belt of truth, it holds you through lots of stuff. Breastplate of righteousness. There is a feeling when you know you've told the truth. If you don't have any hidden agenda, you don't have a lot of stuff to apologize for. You know, the person that's always lying all the time, they're always trying to keep track. What did I tell this person? What did I tell that person? And there's got to be a level of anxiety that I can't even imagine. There was a movie long ago with an actor named George C. Scott. It also didn't happen. George C. Scott played in Flim Flam Man. And if you'll picture back in the early 1900s with con men going between towns, there's a reason they go between towns, because once they rip people off in one town, it's best not to stay there anymore. And one of the things he said in that film, I don't know who wrote it, the writer of that film, obviously, he said, you can't cheat an honest man or woman. Not entirely true, but if you think about it, a lot of the scams that go on, whether it be on our phone or online, all have to do with somebody's greed. Somehow, I'm going to get better than the system. I'm going to beat the system. And if we can get conned into thinking, I can beat it, and a little bit illicit there, then they can use it to con us and cheat us. So if you're righteous at heart, it's a lot harder to scam us. Because if we've got the Spirit down deep and not a lot of guile, and we're not conning other people when we're straight up from the beginning, we're standing in a lot better position. The shoes that carry the gospel, the Trans-Jordan, I gotta use that again. It doesn't have to be just shoes. Anything that gets you moving, and it can be something online, I don't care. Whatever it is that shares good news, that's what gospel is literally. Sharing good news. And good news can vary in various ways, but I believe they all initially begin with God's Spirit. And that is good. And we can share it. You may be sharing the gospel at home in your home today. You may share it with a coworker or a schoolmate sometime later. Probably not with the younger kids and teachers, because their brains are turned off. There's no school at this point, so that's fine. But that'll come back later. We can share that gospel, that reality, that truth. Not telling somebody, you ought to do this, but rather say, this is what Christ means to me. When you're sharing something that's real in you, that's a whole lot better than just saying, you ought to. Because you know how it feels at the other end. The shield of faith. As I told, as those darts and arrows come in, he literally puts out the fire. And if we're about faith, maybe we don't get caught up in all the little drama and all the games that go on in the world. And if we uphold that faith, and that's at our core, and nothing less, we're standing in a pretty good spot. Helmet of salvation. If I'm correct, and I'll have to check with Dr. Buchholz, the initial word root in salvation is life. Life is literally given to us, not as spirituality someday, somewhere out there. Life begins here. In fact, it began in our baptism. It continues our whole lives. Sword of the Spirit. One of the texts we have is it talks about the sword of the Spirit being so penetrating, it gets right down to the marrow. Without doing too much anatomy and physiology, you can imagine something that cuts through all the bogus talk, the stuff we tell other people, the stuff we tell ourselves, the stuff that goes out online and wherever else. All of hundreds or thousands of messages we get a day. The sword of the Spirit cuts right through all that stuff and gets to the reality of who we are, when we are, and where we are. And that is real. Paul says pray for him. We should pray for each other and the ministry. We focus on the Spirit within us and nothing less. I think that's a pretty good stance.